I think this is passion flower to your left. Van Houten. Who planted all these beautiful flowers?
I'm down. Look at them. Oh, Lord. Having a swim. They're gorgeous.
Left them on, turn out to the west coast, and then they were everything. Oh, Morris Quirk. Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is the grave of the foundress of Glencairn, Mother Mora Perry, who came with the founding group from Staple in England and remained here as superior of the foundation and died only 3 years after the foundation being made in 1932 and she died in 1935. Then to the left here you have the Mother Margaret Shea, I think. Shaw. Mother Margaret Shaw was the abbess at the time of the foundation of Wrentham. Then over here, right here, there's Mother Bernard O'Donnell, who was the superior of the group that came to Wrentham and was the first abbess of Wrentham for a short while, then returned to Ireland with the other nuns when they were recalled. Sister Agnes Fahey was another one of the wonderful foundresses coming from Glencairn, a university lady, and died very suddenly after her return to Glencairn. Next to her is Sister Magdalene Boylan, who was the sister of Dom Eugene Boylan, the writer and the abbot of Rosscray. Where is Veronica was an elderly lay sister who came with a young lay sister who is Sister Frances, who is still here at Glencairn. Sister Veronica became ill with TB at Wrentham and was hospitalized, but had recovered sufficiently to return to Glencairn and lived quite a few years afterwards, surprisingly. So that accounts for all of the foundresses who have died except for Mother St. John.
St. John, she's in Tighe,
T-I-G-H-E, who is buried at Wrentham because she died soon after the foundation, rather suddenly too, after surgery. And that's a lovely cedar of Lebanon. I think that's a cedar of Lebanon.
good tomatoes too, beautiful flavour.
Isn't that
Now
nice?
the heart of the is supposed to be buried here. The heart of the lady, she died in Rome and she has to be buried in Glencairn. Do you know that story?
Oh yes,
That
yes,
story.
yes.
But she was forgotten wartime and everything, you know, and she asked that the heart come back to Glencairn. But eventually, after years, the heart was found in the library. The
Really?
heart all embalmed.
Really?
Yes, and the ghost of her ghost was seen for years going around the house. Nobody would live in the house here. They used to see this lady in white walking around during the
Here
night.
at Glencairn Abbey.
Yeah, and the servants got very nervous.
Is that a fact?
Isn't it? I hope it's nice.
Are you recording that?
Oh my goodness.
I hope you recorded all that as being the story of Glencairn Abbey.
And finally they decided they were going to watch one night, and they got lanterns and so forth, and they saw them. And then they found the casket in the library.
With the heart.
With the heart and they had a funeral out here to the garden.
And it's
buried,
here someplace?
And buried it, but we don't know exactly the spot.
So the heart of the
heart was
lady
buried
who
and
died in Rome
Yeah.
had been brought back, but until such, did she appear after that?
She didn't know it was all finished
Well,
after that. Yes, yes.
As they say,
was
they
no-
laid the ghost. They laid the ghost. Okay, let's go in. I'm not going through those curves. Let's go.
But that's down the same. That's the same way. The orchard now is down here. You see, you can come back after it down the road.
Let's do that. Yes, Sister Kevin. Oh, she's tired.
She's my twin.
Yes.
We went to the same day.
Really?
Same day, yes.
And
The
the
two, and we
same day.
didn't know one another. We arrived. And she said to me, "I'm glad you came. You were two Marys too."
Yeah.
Abbot Kevin's.
Well, that's the Dutch sister. Is that the one she was hiding
Yeah,
away?
she's hiding.
Ah. Who's that?
It's all gone. You see my face. Really jealous. Really jealous.
Here.
Oh, Jonathan. Look at them with his. Come on. Let us know.
Come over.
Over here.
We have the three. Just wait a minute here. We want the three.
There we are. And good morning.
Say something. 1:30 p.m. on Tuesday. We have just come from the ferry which brought us from Rosslare in Ireland to Pembroke in Wales. We are on our way to the island of Caldey, which means that we must take the train at this station to Tenby, and at Tenby take a ferry at 4 p.m. to Caldey. So far, all our arrangements have worked out rather well, even if at times seem to be in short supply. The Lord has seen to it that despite our inexperience of English ways of doing things, English and Irish ways, we've been able to be on time for ferries and such things. We are now embarking on the crossing to Caldey Island from the port of Tenby. However, there is no dock for this ferry, but a Wait, camera. Relatively smooth crossing. Tire on those with real tire.
We have tea gardens for the tourists. We have chocolate, we have all the dairy products like cheese, yogurt, ice cream, and then we make our own chocolate and of course the perfumery.
Well, I thought the perfumery had gone down somewhat.
Well, it has, but we still, you know, and I'm not even involved with the perfumery.
Did you? Oh, you didn't hear from
He's doing all this. This
yes.
This is why I'm talking in such a posh accent.
Really? he has two guest houses to take care of. The other one is down near the village?
Yes, it's in the village.
And you have accommodation for how many?
21.
21
With 20
both
rooms.
men and women. And who takes care of the tea gardens?
Well, that's over now to lay staff. Some of our lay staff are looking
Yes.
after it.
But so there are people coming every day of the year?
Yes. Oh, no. We have a tourist season starting probably from Easter time. And they'll start spreading off probably in the middle of October. But, you know, we do depend very much on our tourists. And when you were coming along, did you see all that work going on in the road?
Yes.
Now, this is called phase one of our infrastructure. We've had a lot of erosion into the sea, so we've had to build up our road.
Oh, you're doing that, not the government.
Oh, no, we've got a private contractor called Taylor Woodrow, and they're here until September. And they stay on the island at night. There's porta cabins over there on the other side. And they work from 7 in the morning till 7 at night. And they go off for weekends, because a lot of them are family men, of course. But
and you're putting in a new road or so?
A new road, and then the monastery is going to be tackled as phase 2, because the monastery badly needs
I would imagine. Which is very nice. I think this is very nice.
lots of light.
This need not be any larger.
No.
This is charm.
And it goes round.
Absolutely charm. Absolutely, I love this. I love this. Who did the Station of the Cross?
This was done by a French Franciscan, no, Belgian Franciscan. And he presented it to the Abbey. Some people are like very abstract.
Well,
it can be very meditative too.
exactly.
It tells the story of the Station of the Cross.
Yeah.
Surely that's not the song.
That the entrance will be reflected. And lovely.
Of course, we've got our own bakery. That's the other thing I've got to say.
You get your
We
own.
make our own bread.
Really?
Underneath the brethren. Some of them anyhow. We make our own glassware. That's our own bread.
This is excellent.
This is John.
I think we met.
John Williams.
What's John?
Benedict is our novice. How do you do? Congratulations. This is Father Lawrence. And Brother Michael.
How do you do, Brother Michael?
Although you wouldn't recognize him without his habit.
Let's go.
No, Glasgow. I come from the East Coast, from Dundee, which is up
Really?
north of Edinburgh.
Really?
But, past 20 years I've been in Glasgow.
You might think you're going to Nundra.
I've been there before.
You look like Don Morris failing of Mont Mulberry this day.
Oh, really?
Except that yours is much neater than his. That's what I'm going to say. But you're not edible, though. You've got a very young face.
Oh, thanks very much.
I would say you're about
This is Jonathan.
Peanut butter.
It's a trial to keep it calm.
I see it.
And it was very cold. Very cold.
Yeah. How do you, where do you read?
So we read from there.
Oh, in the corner.
Yes.
Is it the linen pole paneling, panel? You see how it looks like a piece of linen, all put it up? Boy, what the money that must have gone into the building of this. No wonder when they became Catholics that the benefactors wanted it
dried
back.
up.
And Curmo had to buy it. But it's lovely. So, and you removed all the paraphernalia of seats and everything.
The fireplace actually was over there, I think.
Oh, really?
Well, I don't know.
There must be some other reason for that.
Yes.
But the window, the penetration is lovely. It's really lovely. These look like more margin openings.
That's right.
Yes. But, so how many in all are you?
15.
15.
But it was nice.
That's nice. And I want to get more, but
Yes.
you have some old street though.
We have, but we're not as bad as we say Mallory is. You know.
By the way, you have none of the Belgian fathers left, they're all
Carlos is there. Yes.
Did we see him?
No. He's near
Yes. What's that nice little cathedral?
There's just a little music room in there.
That's lovely. Everywhere you have these little, see them on
That's right.
What is this?
This is the statue and the sacristy and the church there.
Oh, I see. That's right.
One
There he has the equivalent over
That's
there.
right.
There's so much that is.
There's a lot of wet in here
Yeah.
because the guttering is all gone, you see.
Yes.
So that's going to be done.
As you
very
said,
soon.
the maintenance is a costly thing.
Oh yes, but it has to be done now because we've neglected it. Now we close off the church during the day for the tourists up here. So I'll open it up now. The last tourist board is gone. So I'll put on the lights for the jungle. If you want to go from the balcony, you can.
Lovely. When was the Blessed Sacramental pitch?
It was
When
be behind there.
Behind there, where he had a hanging fix.
Yes.
Yes. But when it was rebuilt with the same trusses and no?
Yes. I'm not quite sure now. Gildas will know all that.
He was great. He lived till he was about 95 or 6.
Exactly. He came from the neighbouring town.
That's right. That's right. He did. He did.
So he was British.
Shed.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
You would have thought.
But there were some of the brothers there who were lovely. Brother Benedict.
Yes, yes.
Brother Bernard. Of course, Brother Stephen, who's also gone now.
Yeah, they've all gone now. Yes. Yeah, do take this. Let me close this door. Oh, that's nice. That little tower. And take that side too. For 1,000 years in the Italian Orthodox. This is the chief vociferous. That's a normal rock formation. you can record him. Oh, there. That is a lighthouse. That is a lighthouse. Oh, there's something on top of that. There was something screwed into this. Oh, look at that lovely sun. Am I photogenic? Huh. I can see what he did. That it shows the highest spot on which to place the monastic building. That was, of course, was Eldred Carlisle with the Anglican community. Why did the monks not use that for their Abbey church?
Well, let me put it this way, is that when the Benedictines came under Carlisle,
Yes.
they did, when they came here, they used to use that for their services, but, Carlisle was wanting to build a monastery.
They wanted something more.
Yeah.
Massive, more.
That's right, yes. But you see, the thing is that what Carlisle really envisaged on the island was, if you like, a mini Mount Athos with a convent,
Oh, really?
skeets, a school, hermitages.
Really?
Quite
And a monastic establishment.
Hmm.
Yes, indeed. Look at ground.
Oh yes.
It's absolutely charming. And the beautiful planting of trees.
Well, yes, a lot of this took place.
That's from the former owner before Carlisle.
No, it takes place from about that time because the thing is that what you've got to remember is that wood was one of the major sources of fuel, and the island was really quite rugged and rocky.
Really?
You know? Oh yes.
Look
Yes.
at those lovely, lovely, lovely trees. That
Mm.
those were planted because they were
Yes,
all.
that's all. A
yeah.
lot of that's all.
Now, this is not a cedar of Lebanon, but we do have some cedars.
Yes, we have those further down there in the
Yeah,
park.
exactly.
Mm.
This is how they go into the church, isn't it?
This is the main area of the church. So that's the school.
Is that the school, is it?
Yes, yes. That's the school.
Oh, with the
Now mind if this is a bit uneven. That's the school over there, the school building.
complete with.
This is St. David's. Now, this is the ancient church on the island, and this goes right back to the Celtic period. And I think that, you see, there's a lot on the island which is, if you like, very, very early Celtic and pre-Christian.
Yes, exactly, that's right.
Because you see, Caldey's name actually comes from
What does that
pre-Christian origin.
Oh, really?
Forget the origin that it's supposed to be north, but the thing is that the actual name Cald comes from the north word meaning scald, which means holy people, holy men.
Yeah.
Hello.
How's the motorway coming along?
Sorry?
How's the new motorway coming along?
Don't go too fast now. This is so interesting. Is this the monastic graveyard?
It's over there. Now, what I want to say about here, first of all, is that if you can look through the trees, we'll be going over that way in a minute. See where the white buildings are?
Yes.
Now, that's where the sea came up to. The sea came right up to there, you see. And from there, you see, the land slopes up here. And what we think happened was that probably when Christianity came first of all to the British Isles, in particular Wales, we think it came at a very, very early date, you see. And it's probably came to Wales, we think it may have come here as early as somewhere in the region about 190, may possibly be before that. And
Marvelous.
we think that maybe some of the early Christians used islands like this, and what we have put together so far is that an early Christian monk or hermit, hermitess, anchoress, whatever you want to describe it, probably built a small cell in this area here, you see. Yes, a small place there. Hello, how are you? Nice to see you again. I am, yeah. You're here today?
Well, I got a bit of an impressive move really. I got the 10.5 last week, and I just jumped on that boat. So came over.
Yeah, probably made some kind of cell here, and there probably was a water source just past the barrels, because the ground there is quite down. Hello, Jenny.
I didn't want to interrupt. I just wanted to say I've put the gear up there.
Yes.
There is a
Is that in this part of the way that the Christianity seems to have moved in this part is that you had one person who would seem to have been pretty charismatic, and he would have drawn, or she would have drawn, one or two disciples. What you would have ended up here would have been a very small stone church, very similar to what you see in Ireland,
That's right.
with probably one or two other things like a granary, a refectory, and ending up with a circular churchyard. Now, we know for a fact that ancient burials, for instance, I mean, I found, for instance, here there are at least 3 levels of burial in the ground.
Yeah. Oh, really?
And the churchyard itself would extend right the way to where those 2 trees are, the cedar trees.
yeah.
Take care anyway.
Do you realise, Joseph, my old novice master died on my birthday? Didn't realise that.
Was it your birthday?
Yeah.
Oh
Didn't
no.
realise that. That's symbolic of anything. And
You
that.
read something.
Oh Lord. Look after yourself.
God bless you.
Come for lunch sometime.
I'll do that. Yes, I'll be over now.
Yeah.
Portugal.
Come over for lunch.
Cheers, right. That's it.
Yeah. So the church, the original, the final. So where the 2 large trees are over there, it's a circle you can trace the circle right the way around, going over to the greenhouses in the monastery enclosure. That would have been the circular churchyard as it would have been in its final stages. I tell you what we'll do, we'll walk around the church and then go into it, and then I can show you one or two things.
Yes, let's do that. Let's do that.
Yeah.
Now, is this, have you figured out who?
These are kind of mid-Victorian.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Well, they imitated the old-fashioned.
That's right, yeah. But anywhere that you dig in here, you've got 3 levels of burial.
Really?
And some of the burials, there are 3 levels. The first level is last century. The middle layer is they are cist burials, are going back to possibly the 7th century. And some of the cist burials are quite interesting because there's more than one person in each grave.
Oh, really?
And then below that there's kind of a distribution of bones, which would suggest that in fact it's quite possible that on the island here they practice an ancient form of, if you like, laying a body somewhere till the flesh had deteriorated and then burying the bones, because the bones were considered quite sacred, you see, in ancient times. Now this area here, you see, is incredibly damp, even in dry weather. We think now, obviously with the water source, and had a well, and this probably was a holy well of some sort, because you wouldn't have built a cell here without a water source. The Celtic monks didn't think like in that way, because you see a water source is over with the springs. So that, obviously there was a water source a well here. In the more modern times, coming over the pillar is the what was the old infirmary for the monastery. It's now private dwelling. So this is built as an infirmary. You see,
privately owned, not by yourselves?
Oh, it's owned by us.
Yes.
It's owned by us, but one of the... And it was because of things like diphtheria and TB, you see, they wanted to isolate because it was a killer here very much.
Lovely.
And
narrower than today. Now, would it have been built in several sections?
Probably. I mean, it's originally, it would have been probably the original monarch's cell, which became some kind of holy area, and then you kind of build out and around it.
Yes.
And the thing is that it's quite possible that when this reaches the side, this is a little bit more modern, because you see, when we get to the Victorian period, you had what they called the dame schools, which are schools where they were churches, bits of churches were used to educate the local children, and they usually employed an educated woman, usually, by the lord of the manor used to employ her to teach the local children. And this probably was the school entrance, because they did use the other part at one time as a forge.
What is on the other side of this?
This is the sanctuary, the altar.
It's the sanctuary.
Yes, this is the sanctuary.
Do you see the opening?
You can't see the opening there because it's glass at the altar.
Have you ever buried? These are all the monks.
These are, yes. See, these ones here, these ones here are from the Benedictine period.
Oh, yeah.
And then this is from the Belgian period.
And those two who died recently.
That's right, Charles Young.
He died suddenly, right?
Well, no, he died in Albania.
Oh, really?
Yes. He was
one
very
who
young.
died just recently.
Suddenly was Father Thaddeus.
Yes.
We found him dead in the woods. But beneath here, as I said, beneath here is quite fascinating, because there are only going down a level of about 6 foot, you have 3 levels of burial. And the cist burials, by a cist burial, it's stone, where they lay the skeleton out, so to speak, and the head is supported by stone, and then it's laid on a layer of flat stone, and then stone all around it. Yes, and sometimes they're in the crouched position, but these are quite flat. But the stone is interesting because the stone comes from the Preseli Hills, where the stones of Stonehenge were hewn, which means that these weren't exactly, if you like, peasant burials. And also the vicinity to the closeness of the church is also quite interesting. So they were well-to-do burials. You see, the ordinary common person wasn't buried in a cist burial. So the churchyard really is quite an ancient area. And also the thing is, you see, it's, as you can see, it's not really quite level,
No, no.
which makes me wonder whether in fact, not just that, whether there are actual other buildings, ruins beneath the churchyard here. As I said, Caldey is such an ancient island. It's had Christianity here, I think, right from the dawn of Christianity within Wales. And also, I think another point to remember is that gradually we're pushing the date of Christianity in Wales further and further back. For instance, I mean, not far from here, you've got the Donaghuthy gold mines. Now, the gold from Donaghuthy was exported to Trier and Marseille. Now, those were two major Christian centres. And Christianity in the British Isles comes along the trade routes. We know that for a fact. And when you think of Trier and St. Athanasius,
That's right.
and also the thing is, you see that this was like the perimeter of the known Roman world. And when you had the persecutions in Egypt, Alexandria was a major source of travel. The monks, from Lytra and places like that, possibly came along the trade routes into a place like Wales.
Exactly.
Because we've got well dedications in Carmarthen dedicated to St. Paul of Thebes and St. Anthony of Egypt. So there's the desert
Well,
connection.
there's no doubt whatsoever that the earliest monasticism was of the Egyptian type.
Yeah.
And what you described here as what would have been a lora with an oratory and then with workshops around and individual cells, you find that in Ireland. And Geraldine McCarville brought me to such a pre-patrician site. So St. Patrick is not really the originator of the Christianity in certain parts. It would have come earlier.
See, we cannot, for love nor money, say how Christianity comes to the British Isles. All we know is that it comes. And, for instance, it came via the Roman army, came via the trade routes, came via the Jews, for instance.
Yes.
I mean, the Greeks were trading in this part of, long before Rome was even thought of. Who knows? Be careful about that, isn't it?
But I think it's extremely interesting, the architecture and the splendid proportions. What was this a door that was outside?
No, I don't think so. I think that you need to have sort of remembering that this was a forge.
Oh yes.
See, so maybe.
Yes.
And also this part is, this area here is actually relatively new. See, this was the original church door entrance.
Oh,
You see, in here you see, for instance, they've preserved this cross.
To put the bars in.
No, they preserved this cross.
Oh, just a moment, look at this.
Now they preserved
The
this.
consecration cross on the door itself.
Yeah.
There are 12, of which 2 have to be on the door jambs.
That's right. And also the other thing is, you see that this also bears resemblance to, the type of crosses that pilgrims would have, scratched, and on entry, you'd have done this 3 times.
That's right.
The old pilgrim crosses. Now this is St. David's. It's interesting because this building has undergone an awful lot of yeah. Going back to Eric Gill again, this is a present from Eric Gill, the font. This was a present from Eric Gill.
You're allowed to baptize.
Oh yes, yes.
You rank as a parish church now.
Yes, this actually now functions. Actually has the parish, the parish church.
Very nice.
Now, this arch here has been cut through at a relatively recent time because they did actually wall this off at one time so that the school was there and this was a separate area. But I think that this is quite fascinating as a church because it's still possible to detect arches. For instance, you can see what I pointed out here. You see, look, that.
Yes, I see that. Yes, I see that. Yes. Yes.
Also, there's lots of fillings in areas.
Yes. And over there I see that there's been masonry added to it.
Yeah.
And what was the hole doing in the wall there above the tabernacle?
That we're still not too sure, but maybe something to do with when it was being used as a ford.
Yes.
You can see the old sort of 18th century windows at the top of the modern window.
Yes, I see a pointed window up there.
Yeah. Now, it's quite probable that a church like this, you see, Caldey, in its very early Celtic period, would have been a church where a lot of pilgrims would have come. You see, part of the Celtic faith was pilgrimage, was movement. Lochderg in Ireland is still in use. I mean, and Caldey, right up to, I think, the time of the Reformation, was a place that people came to during the Lenten period. And so I think that in here you would have had various murals depicting penitents and the saints of the island, because they were actually quite numerous saints connected with the island.
Not only St. Samson, but any
well, there was Samson, Ilted, Tylo, Davrick,
yes.
Mallow, Gildas. Then there was Bridget, Patrick, Dennis, for instance.
That's right.
There was quite a large thing.
These are Martin windows, before you forget.
These are Theodore Bailey again. This is the work of Theodore Bailey who we've met already in the guest house.
And that is St. Iltud or St. David?
No, that's a St. David and the other one's King David.
King, oh yes, isn't that one?
Yeah. Because the thing is, they dedicated this church at the turn of the century to St. David, but there is no indication of its ancient dedication. It's probably dedicated to St. Tylo because St. Tylo was born in Penally, and that's the little village that you can see on the sands when you come over. It's a very, and St. David's was a class church. A class church in Welsh is a mother church which had little churches around it. So the original dedication we hear, I would venture to suggest, was St. Tylo.
Oh yes.
And not David. This, I think if you were to remove the flagstones here, you would probably find foundations of a small cell, because I'm convinced this is the cell area. A lot of the sanctuaries in some of the Welsh churches were cells of the early founders.
Oh,
and I think this is the cell beneath this.
Yes.
This is Theodore Bailey's very famous.
Isn't that a charming look at that? Isn't that a love, a little Martin window? Now, what, before they painted all this, what was here? Was it rubble? The wall?
It just very much like that.
The same as that?
Yeah, I'm a bit not, because I wish I'd actually taken mortar samples. Yes. I regret it. I found some quite ancient mortar in there, but they did this, I mean, at the time...
You did not find any traces of wall painting, did you? Very primitive wall painting.
Very primitive, no, I haven't. But I'm convinced the church that this did.
You see how it's not concentric. You see, between the... If you put that arch on this one, you end up over here. And that was the phenomenon in all those churches. They were never perfect angle.
So I'm convinced, you see, that this part really nice, it was originally the cell area.
The cell area, yes.
And the other thing is, you see, that what has also been suggested, David Hugh Farmer has also suggested to me, that in fact, you could possibly have had two churches that were joined into one, you see.
Well, yeah.
That did happen.
That happened. Two bases and all. St. Lawrence outside the walls is two on two different levels. And the more ancient one is here. So they removed the apse of one, made a triumphal arch, and then you're quite right.
See, the thing is, you see that the window up there now, you see, which is the Tree of Life.
Very nice.
It's actually Theodore Bailey's, I think, most beautiful piece. It's a lovely, beautiful window.
And you have an old brass here. An old...
Where
did you get this from?
I'm not sure whether that was donated. See, we lost so much in the fire.
Because the old church brasses in England are much in demand now. They're coming back. So that looks so new.
You see, the thing is, there's a lot of the churches in Wales you see are folding up, and there's a lot of the old stuff to be found here. But you see, one interesting feature about this church is, A, the height of it. I mean, it's very much like the old oratories in Ireland. And secondly, the size of it. I mean, it's actually quite large for a church, a small parish church.
Yes, yes.
It's quite a remarkable building, really.
Where did all the kneeling cushions come from?
The ladies of the village.
Charming.
About 6 years ago, they all started to make them.
It's really charming. Really charming. They have no sacristy, so they have to leave them on, which is a good idea. That's also charming. You go to the Basque country and you see these very unusual cemetery crosses, and you come here and you see these lovely from a native wood, apparently.
Yes. This is St. Sampson statue. I'm still having difficulty in actually locating who. I think this is Theodore Boney's work again, but the features are very much that of the young Carlyle again. I mean, he was one of the lovely stories about Carlyle is that when he walked around the monastery, when they had more or less roughly done the shell interior, apparently he wasn't a very tall man, and he stood in one of the doorways, and he realised in fact that the doorways were quite high and made him look short, so he had all the doorways lowered.
Oh no, why is he wearing a cloak, a hooded cloak instead of, which is not a monastic habit,
No.
Benedictine? What is that made out of?
It's made out of a metal.
Yes, look, I thought so, yeah.
Yes, because you see the head's come off several times.
Why 1929 to 54?
That's the anniversary of the Cistercians coming. We came
Oh,
in
I
29.
see.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. This stood somewhere up in the monastery. We think maybe near the door.
Yes.
Must be somewhere like that.
Did you get yours, dear? Your perfumes yet?
Flat stone on all four sides.
Yes.
And stone underneath. Then they would have probably covered with large pieces of stone and cloth and then earth. And that's a cist burial. It's a very ancient form of burial.
But it would have been the length of a human body.
Not always. Not always,
you
because
said something about it being...
some of them are crouched.
Yes, they're ramped. Yes,
Some of them are crouched burial, and we think that crouched burials may have been something to do with, with the fetus, fetal return.
Yes, the fetus.
Yes.
Yes.
Are you going to get up? Do you want to lift up? Do you want to drive up?
Well,
do you want to? Or you want to walk?
I prefer if you have a lift.
Okay, just have a.
You go up to the prairie. Well, could you put him off by the mill?
By the mill.
Well, this is the old medieval mill, and the water source, the natural springs on the island, would have run past here. They were collected in a series of ponds, a pond system that goes right back to the early medieval monks. And this mill here would seem to have been used right up to something like 1815, 1816. There are still in the corner there some of the old millstones which look like they're from the French period. It's unfortunately extremely dilapidated, but one can actually see that it had at least two stories to it, and it may also have had storage space as well, probably in this area here. Around it, we've probably had the original, here is the question mark, is supposed to have drowned himself.
He drowned himself.
When I say drowned himself, he was supposed to have been drunk and fell into the pond. But it's a ludicrous story on surface level, but it's a true story in one respect. It echoes, has a lot of old Celtic stuff, does the scriptures, and it may possibly have been the fact that he was turning from Christianity, or turning to Christianity, and his community chose to poison him with something intoxicating, and he drowned, or he was pushed into a well of some sort, which would echo the story of Jeremiah. There again you can see your pond systems again, and they probably grew, or rather cultivated things like carp and various fresh fish, which a lot of monasteries did, but this was a thing that happened more in the kind of 13th century, when monasteries were quite sophisticated.
I just want to know how this front part could have leaned over without ever falling down.
Probably because at the time it was built very culturally crude. The tower isn't as old as we think.
Oh.
No, you see, the thing is that this is to assume that what you're looking at is in fact the old priory is actually to make quite a vast assumption, because most of what consists of the original monastery was probably devastated at the time of Henry VIII.
Henry VIII. Oh,
That's right.
it was a going priory at the time of Henry VIII.
Yes, unfortunately, most of the records of the old priory that we have got that stem from that date, one can't believe, because you see the chap who, Bradshaw, who took the tenancy of the old priory of the island, was also the chap who was appointed by Cromwell to close it down. And he lied through the teeth, as they all did, saying that this place was absolutely poverty-stricken.
Yes.
And they did it so they could get a tenancy as cheap as possible. Yes. Probably the actual monastic church probably went as far as, possibly as far as where that bin is in the farm there. And what you're actually looking at here is actually the crossover.
The crossing, yes, of course.
And the tower, because you can see
between the nave and transept.
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
Oh. Remind me the steps, because I'll do the sea with a bit more light.
Look at that floor. That is ancient.
I don't operate that to get you into a little piece of it.
Restored, but some of the old Irish churches did have floors like this at one time,
You let me.
He used it when they arrived, right?
Yeah, they used to use this. The idea was that they could actually store here and live in here.
Yep.
So right behind this is the step down.
They opened
well, it's the Ogham alphabet. The Ogham inscription starts here, and it would have gone, because you see this part is missing,
yes.
it would have gone up, and it continues that side there.
Yes.
But you see, there are three periods here. There's the Ogham. Now, see, what happened in Ireland, roughly about the year 300 to 350, there was a massive kind of ethnic cleansing took place in Ireland. Two tribes in roughly the Waterford and Wexford area were driven out of Ireland because of some kind of clan or tribal warfare, and they came into Wales and they brought with them the Ogham alphabet. And the thing is that the stones that they erected were really actually clan territory.
Yes.
Now the crosses that you can see here,
Yes.
these crosses here,
Yes.
these come from a later date, and that's from pilgrims.
Oh yes.
Because
They had
pilgrims would have come here.
Yes,
and,
it's like graffiti in a big way. Yes.
and, and the thing is that the Latin inscription comes from the Christian period. And the name here, you see, which is that of Catacunii,
Yes, it's the old.
he probably was the original saint come abbot of the old Celtic monastery, because the Welsh name for Caldey is Innisbeer, and that's probably the last name that are in memory, because the islands around Wales changed their names rapidly. They were known by the saint or saints that lived on them. And Innisbeer, or the island of Pirate, is probably the last one that we can actually remember. It probably would have had gone back well before then, because in many respects, if you were to go to name the island after the saint, this would have been known as Innis Sansonius. But it's not, its name is Innisbeer. Fenton, writing in the 16th century, and Owen, both say that there should have been, that they witnessed on the island 3 or 4 Ogham stones, which don't exist now. But I have found in the farm, in an old shed, a part of a stone, which I think is maybe part of an Ogham stone or a burial slab.
Yes.
It's in the middle of a building and I can't get
Is
it
it
out.
made of the same stone?
Yes, it's the same stone. Yeah.
They can do that nowadays. Bring disparate parts. Is that in ivory up there, that little root?
No, it's obviously some kind of something of that description.
But that's charming, absolutely charming.
Well, that goes back to probably the Benedictine period. And the sanctuary area here, this is probably one of the oldest sections in the monastery, in this church.
So this corresponds to the root screen, of course, and which were in every church. And
this is the oldest part that's intact. For instance, the Pixine is 13th century.
That's right.
The window dates from the 13th century. But the roofing is quite strange, because this isn't the original roofing at all.
No.
And it may date from round about 1500, when the place was turned into...
For goodness sakes.
Yeah, when it was turned into some kind of manor farmhouse come farm.
Well, yes, I can see there are two work periods.
Exactly.
You see?
Now, one of the interesting things about this is the fact that I'm convinced that this is the relic chapel where the pilgrims came. That here they came to see and worship the reliquary of St. Samson, St. Ultan and St. Tyler. Because I think myself that dip in the floor pertains to 2 chapels. Because that is perfect size for your sanctuary area. Then you've got your crossover.
That's right.
With your side altars.
That's right.
And then you've got the church which would have gone back.
Going as far as the
Exactly.
Yes.
And remember that the order that founded this and built this medieval monastery, the Order of Tyrone, they had very strict building regulations. Because you can see what I'm talking about if you go to like St. Dogman's, Abbey, you see, it's very, you can see certain similarities. I mean, this has a monastic church, with a group of say 13 monks and say 13 lay brothers, this wouldn't have functioned. You couldn't. I mean, where's your choir? Where's your altar? I mean, it wouldn't have functioned.
Interesting.
And you can see, for instance, this wall here, I mean, if you look down the church now, you can see that you're going at an angle.
Well, of course.
And you can see this wall here is newly built. It was probably reconstructed about 1800.
Yeah. Really, what is behind this curtain?
That's just the way into the old communal oven. It was in 1800 they built a sort of a bakery type.
Oh my goodness gracious.
And it's well documented that each family took a day per week to look after the oven.
Really? Yes. You have recipe of it, probably?
Yes.
Yes.
It's used for private crowd.
Really? It's most interesting.
You know, a lot of women.
Yeah.
And Celtic covers, if you like, was something that was quite local.
And this definitely would have been the crossing,
We think-
extending in a little bit.
Yes.
And if this goes up to the tower?
That goes up to the tower. But it's been suggested from trying to draw a rough plan that if this was the crossover, that their entrance, their night staircase, could have been there, but it would have been slightly out of tree with the rest of the side altars. They probably might not have had, usually it's for between 3 to 6 altars either side of the crossover.
And what is that one there? What is that behind?
I'm not really sure. That just empties it. That goes out into the gatehouse.
Yeah. But, yeah.
You can see a lot of this.
And the squint.
Now, if you look in this one here, you can see 3 arches.
Yeah,
One,
yeah, yeah.
2,
Yeah.
and that one.
Yeah, yes.
Now we think there's some people suggested that could have been a chapter room, but if that's a chapter room, you see the keys is rather out of line, which wouldn't have been original, because the Tyrrhenian monks were quite.
Definitely, they're concentric. Do you see the 3 arches? 1, 2, 3.
But you see, the interesting thing is, you see that in 1135, the Welsh princes rose in rebellion against the Normans in Wales, and an island like Caldey, you see, which is owned by the Normans, and it was owned by a Norman lady who gave it to the monks.
Yes.
It's quite possible that that Martin of Tyrone and Robert Fitzmartin may have been driven here onto the island as a place of refuge, and consequently they constructed this area here as a kind of fortification. I mean, you can see a door that's up there.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as Celtic Christianity. What you can actually say is that there's what we call Celtic Christianities, because with the Norman push into Wales, which really was around about the 1100s, you still had people practicing Christianity as it had been practiced for centuries, without any change. And it's very, very unfair, I think, to suggest that the Christianities that were being practiced in the British Isles were in fact obscure and not in true with Rome. The reason that it was like this was the fact that Rome itself, the whole of Europe was being devastated. You had the Dark Ages, and the various writings of the popes and the various missionaries, they never came here. And in England this year we're celebrating the mission of St. Augustine to Canterbury.
Yeah.
And the thing is that I think it's just sheer arrogance to suggest that Augustine brings Christianity, because in the writings of Bede, one of the very first things that Augustine does is he summons the British bishops. If there wasn't Christianity, where'd they come from?
Exactly, I'm thinking of that.
Where
I
did
was
they
also
turn up?
going to ask you a question, what was it, to the Isles that had been here before, when there was such an influx from the older countries of Christianity, Egypt, for example, and all of that.
Well, what they did, the first thing that they actually did was that they brought their own bishops and instituted and appointed their own abbots.
Definitely. They ousted both the bishops and the abbots and put in Norman bishops.
That's right. Now the next thing that they did was they broke up the class church system. Now the class church system in Wales was a mother church with what we would loosely describe today as canons.
Yes.
They broke that up and they instituted the diocese with the sort of the bishop with his own canons who were all Norman. The class church completely was obliterated, and you had this. They were all Normans. They were appointed, and also under William the Conqueror. Although William the Conqueror was himself quite a devoutly religious person, he wanted to have his own say within the church, and Rome allowed this. This is one of the things you see that people forget, that when Henry VIII was saying he wanted to be head of the British Church, he actually was only echoing something that Rome had allowed under William the Conqueror.
Yes,
Rome never objected to William having his say over the church and the appointments.
Yes.
You see.
That's right. Church and state. That was brought out in the exhibit in the Metropolitan Museum at this present time, The Glory of Byzantium, where it is shown that the emperor and the church and the patriarch were pretty much on the same level, with the emperor having a great deal to say about the church government and the church appointments and things like that.
Those go right way back.
Do you think that was the Restoration?
No, I think that's probably quite genuine. I'm not really quite sure exactly what.
Of course, there's a central column is missing. You see, it's a little bit like that. There should be a central member there. But were those
dovecots, yes.
Dovecots, you see.
And you know, I mean, I find this difficult to believe, but they did love eating doves. I mean, I think it's quite horrible. But they were very doves. They enjoyed eating doves, and that was one of the main reasons for it. They get them to breed there, you see, and then feed off them.
I've never eaten pigeons or squab or anything
no,
like that.
I've never set up a, you know.
Here we are. Oh, I hope we don't have to repeat what we did intently, trying to avoid the water. What is that over there? Two ships? Two boats? That's a big boat. Hello dear. The whole community. David was down here.
God bless you.
Daniel was down here.
Yes, he's just.
And now you're down here.
God bless you. That's right. I think we better step over here, just out of their way, because if we just pulling in there.
Well, they may.
Because they've all got to get off.
Gabriel.
Bye, Lawrence. Is that anybody's on there? Jonathan. Lawrence.
thinking of this when I got the Welsh love school.
Remained there until the end of the World War, when there were too few to continue. And they began the cause of beatification of our founder, Don Vincent de Paul, Merrill. And I'm told that they, by hook or by crook, had his chalice. So I'm hoping to go to Timidrick and steal it. And then, what is more important is that, like yourselves, we look to the bishop to be our protector for only 10 years. And it was those 10 years that have taken away our rank of seniority. And in 1867, one of our founders went to St. Sixt, which had an enormous community at that time. It was a foundation from Westmount. And that community gave us some 30 monks, including one novice, who became our first abbot.
Wow.
And so the monks of St. Sixt, we call that the period of the Belgian monks at Petit Clairvaux. And they did a wonderful job. People still today, I've been there 3 times, say, oh, Dom Dominic was a great farmer. And you see that horse in the field there? That's a great slaughter. It's a horse that was attached to his sulky. And you said about Madame de Chabannes, she's where she wanted to be, and so we went up there to dig up our founder, and his body and the bodies of our community had been transferred to the parish cemetery. At one time, the parish cemetery had all these gravestones, and with a big gravestone for our founder, which we have at Spencer Hall. But the pastor wanted a lawn, a greensward. You know what he did? Took off all these headstones, put them in the back block as though it was a marble yard, and he put just one little marker this big on top of the spot where our monks were buried. Well, that wasn't too bad, except that in the spring the fuel truck came across the cemetery, what had been, was still the cemetery, to put oil in the tank, fuel oil, and sunk right down and did away with that marker completely. Well, when we went, we had some photographs showing the approximate. If I had had a surveyor with me and anything like that, perhaps they could have, with a sextant, found where that had been. We dug, but we were opening other graves. So it occurred to me that our founder is where he wanted to be. All the parish records, because the parish church was just from about here to the end of your road here. And so he ministered to the Acadians, to the Indians, Mi'kmaq, they're all Catholic, to the blacks, to the Scottish Catholics. There's a great big colony of Scottish Catholics from the Highlands, and the Irish. And all the records in the baptismal book are all written by him, and including his death and burial there. So I say he's wherever he wants to be. We have his headstone, and that's enough. But there's a great devotion to our roots present in the community. You would think that young people say that's old ancient history, forget about it, but it's not that way. Well, I think you have a delightful place here, and the makings of a delightful community once again, especially the old ones. And that's it. So.
Of your fire, your keeping of the rule of silence was so strict that the place was blazing and they were knocking on doors saying,
Yes.
And they were saying,
Well, 20 minutes after I left my Sullivan's dormitory, taking off my night cowl, putting on the roof, and my night scapular, putting on my day scapular, and taking my day towel, and the crucifix on the wall, which had been brought from Rome's carved wood, and going down the step. There was no dormitory. The fire went right up. And it's a miracle that 60 professed. All the priests that were through things slept there. None was hurt. But the three who became abbots subsequently, Thomas Hidding, Dom Kernan, and Father Pascal, were guided by Brother Dominic through all kinds of ins and outs and onto the roof of a porch on the front of the building. And you would have said, well, where do we go from here? There was a ladder on that porch that had been left there by someone who was working on the roof. So it was just a link, they just went down. They were singed their eyebrows and that's about all. But otherwise, if Brother Dominic, who never takes, you know, Brother Dominic, who never takes any credit for anything, had not had the presence of mind, because they come to a staircase and it was all glass. They did go through a room, out a window, onto a porch, and then down again. He was the savior of those people, because they had been slow getting a move on. But, well, thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Would you like to see the stains on it?
Well, you giving it to me.
Oh no, it's such a mess. Oh, couldn't. It's such a mess.
Oh.
Trying to get. Are you trying to get your one? We'll get you one. You can wash your one. We'll get you a new one. We'll get you a new one. Yes, yes.
All right.
Actually, I've got friends coming next week from Berwood, and they'll get you one.
Good, good, good.
Yes, anybody we know goes.
Can I take one of you, Jonathan? Can I take one of you?
You know, the church was an existing building that was refurbished. You could not have built anything like that, could you? Oh, really? Can we go in? My God.
You see, because, the room's down there, and because of the slope, you get terrific amount of rain here. It's got all the water just poured in down there.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Oh. It was marvellous buildings. Now I've got 6,000 trees here, so we'll just have to see.
Golly.
This is going to be a guest house area too. Well, that's not it. Let's try it again. I think there's all the same.
The engineering that went into this.
I know. We've got excellent.
Gee. Unbelievable.
And it was literally brambles to the back door. I mean, you couldn't get into that wood. You couldn't get in there. And Tony, that man went up in the car. He did the mistake.
Unbelievable.
And we did this stone wall here. And those rails are going to come down here, you see. So we added this on so you can get into that building, which we do is the altar bread industry.
Altar bread, yeah.
Sitting in my room, you see. Yeah. Come across here, carefully.
Tony man, he built the flower bed. And so we added this on so that we can get a walkway from. You need to see the other side.
Where did you get that lovely round top? Was it there?
That was it. That was it. Well, actually, we had to put a new one in, but suddenly it's in the shape. So Tony rescued that. Yeah.
That little cross came from State Hill.
No. Tony got that from a workyard. That's a Celtic cross there. You see? It's a little well.
It's a well.
Yeah.
Isn't that? Isn't that marvelous?
It's mainly, what was I going to say? It's mainly really seepage water.
Yes,
because
the seepage water.
we've had so little rain, you see.
Yes.
So we've got 5 acres of woodland. We've only got 20 acres altogether. But this is, and you've got all bluebells.
Oh yes, we saw some in Caldey.
Oh, did you?
It's the season of the bluebells.
That's right. That's fine. That's all.
Isn't it something?
And these are the cells the other side. You see? So. Oh, that's it.
What you're doing.
So this is the altar bathing.
The altar bathing. Tile wall.
Yes, that was. It was a kitchen.
Glad we met you.
There's the other side of the barn. You see, I'll go and get the photograph home. I've just got to do.
What a beautiful barn. Oh my goodness, even this lovely old building here. Isn't that something? Isn't that something with what they can do? With old buildings. Oh my goodness gracious me. Isn't that something?
And that on the right-hand side, the top one, is this side of the barn. That is what we're looking at.
And that little vestibule there was...
This has been which?
This one there.
That porch, oh, that was there.
That was there?
That was like the entrance, you see. But we've added all this on, you see, because that's a walkway.
Yes, yes.
You see that? You can see that window is that window there.
How did you show that beautiful stone? Did you sandblast that?
Yes, they did, and they also added on, because it's a completely new roof and everything, you see. They raised the roof and everything.
Lovely, lovely.
So we can come up.
Well, I'm going to want to look at that book.
Yes, you see, that's when they're working on it.
Oh my God.
And they nearly hit live electric.
It's really, it's unbelievable.
You see that? That's excellent. That's the building. It's the main building.
Oh, he has.
Yeah. And it's got excellent architecture. Yeah. Come on, we'll come upstairs quick.
Here it is.
That's the little porch there.
There's that window.
That's it.
Don't you think that?
Kind of an extra.
It's
Did you see the thickness of the walls?
lovely.
Isn't it?
Lovely.
Pretty comfortable. I wonder if we can